So this is a quick kind of feature update. Not a product, it's a tool we've been working on that's based on our website. It's a sensor crop visualizer. And we developed this for our B format adapter because we got so many questions with people asking us like what lenses cover, how will it work on this camera? And it was almost easier to make a tool because we can use it, you can use it, and get a really clear idea of how these lenses look on loads of different RED cameras. We are planning to actually expand this. So it's developed quite far in terms of its functionality. So we're going to build our speed booster when that gets released. That will be kind of also you'll be able to simulate lenses through that on this tool, and also the Fujinon MK mount will be added very soon. So what I'm going to do is just go through it, run through like how to use it, all the functionality, and just so you get a better idea of like what this tool does and extra features it can do as well. So by default, it's got the Dragon 6K as your default camera. You just choose whatever camera you got. We got all the DSMC2 cams, DSMC1, and also RED one. So I'll stick with Dragon for the moment. It lists the highest resolution possible by default when you change camera. So actually if I just change it to say Monstro, this field updates to be the 8K full format, which is the highest kind of resolution output for that camera. And then, so I'm going to switch back to Dragon. On the drop down for resolution, you have every resolution option available. So this is not just your 16:9s, 21:9s. It has all the kind of 4:3s, the 1:1s, your 6:5s, everything you want for every single resolution. So you actually get, depending on what lens you use, you can really kind of push and see what is your absolute max kind of resolution you can get out of that setup. So the next box is the B4 expander box. So by default, it's set to no. And we've got the two options on there, which is the 1.1 times Blackmagic and the 1.5 times Blackmagic. So I'm going to choose the 1.1 times as that is the kind of more popular one in terms of like the Blackmagic mount you can get off the shelf brand new today. So I switched it over, and by default, the lens image circle also updates. So that is now saying 2/3 B4. So that is a standard 2/3 B4 lens. So one thing we can change is the scale to get an idea of what our image circle is looking like across the whole sensor. So down at scale, it's by default set to fit lens circle. If you change it to fit sensor size, the whole thing zooms out and you actually see how that image circle is laying on the sensor. So B4 lenses have a very small image circle. What we want to do next is change our resolution to something the B4 lens should be able to cover. So I'm going to choose on Dragon. I think the highest resolution we can go is 2.5K, 16:9 with the 1.1 times. Oh, it was close. It was very close. So it's actually, technically with most lenses, this will cover. We can see that the tool is saying it's borderline. So that means that at 98.76% coverage, most likely it's going to be fine. You're going to have perfect coverage because most lenses overproject anyway. But one thing it does mean is that we could then alter our resolution. So the next best resolution, if we're sticking to a similar sort of aspect ratio, is going to be 2K full format. There you go. So we have perfect coverage. It's a little bit more cropped in. So it's really down to the lens you're using, and you'll be able to test that. But this tool gives you a kind of good virtual idea. So at 2K full format on Dragon with the 1.1 times, we can capture full DCI 2K. We can shoot at 240 frames per second. So we can look at the frames per second indicator down here. It says 240. We get the idea of lens coverage. We also get the idea of crop factor. So it's saying we've got a crop factor of 1.03. So near as damn it, that is as close as you are getting to a 1.1 kind of conversion between your B4 mount lens and the actual resolution you're shooting at. So it's just saying basically you're cropped in ever so slightly. But in the real world, it doesn't really matter. If you know the image circle of the exact lens you're using, you could also enter that into the custom field, and then you can really start to dial in the kind of the max coverage you can get from your lenses. So the next thing I'll do, so say we want to do, let's say a different camera. So I know, for instance, the Gemini does struggle with the 1.1 times. So if I switch this over now, you see it goes back to its max, but we'll bring this all the way back down to 2K 16:9. And there you go. You can see. So similar sort of thing with Gemini. It is just about to, it will just about cover, but you have got vignetting on the edge of frame. And this tool just shows you that. It says borderline in this instance. So you probably are going to see a bit of vignetting. So this tool actually generates all these different outputs as SVGs. So there is the option to download these as SVGs. So if you're using a tool like Illustrator or any other vector-based tool, you could technically take your own image circles. You could then import those into Illustrator and then use this as a very accurate overlay. Or it could be a way of like collating lots of different lenses. But the SVG functionality really is for if you want to like archive these, so you can like, make your own notes on them, anything like that. It's just an extra functionality there for if you want to. So I'm going to reset this tool actually. So I'm just going to refresh the page just to reset it. So one thing you may have noticed as we're going through this, the crop factor and also the lens image circle both have locks next to them. These just allow you to lock different features. So if you want to have, say, the crop factor locked to 35mm, that's where you kind of feel comfortable in terms of your relative crop factor. You can just lock that, and then that won't update when you change your lens image circle. By default, it would just change and match that just automatically. But if you lock it, you're happy with everything relative to full frame. That's a really easy way to do it. And you can do the same with lens image circle. So if you know the exact lens you're using, you know the exact, say, the custom lens image circle, you could input that if it's, say, 28.5 or something like that. You can put that in, 28.5, and then just lock it. And that will mean that your custom input doesn't change for all the time, basically until you refresh the page. You can dial in as many settings as you want without those two kind of core features that you may...
Parameters.
There you go. Core parameters. Those core parameters changing. So yeah, it's quite a nice little feature. So we try to keep the UI as simple as possible, and while also we've tried to keep the UI as simple as possible, but also letting you do some more advanced features at the same time. So that's basically all the main features for this tool as it stands at the moment. If there's any major updates we do to this, we'll definitely put out a new video that covers all those updates. But anyway, thanks for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.